Seriously? A $600 deduction for being late? Is this what this world has come to? Well, not all brokers are like this. Some freight brokers think that they can just deduct whatever they want from a carrier and get away with it. Well, in this video, I'm gonna show you how that freight broker did not get away with it. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the story about what happened. The entire story, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I am going to tell you about the revised confirmation that the broker just sent us. I'm gonna tell you about the payment that we got, the cut that we got. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I did and how I got paid. I'm going to tell you about emails that went back and forth, and I'm going to block off the names of the companies because I really don't want to trash other companies. I'm just here to create awareness and show you guys how I was able to take out my money from this freight broker and what I can show you how to do the exact same thing if you're ever in this situation. So a little bit about the story, okay? I only get involved at the end of the story, okay? So basically, ET Transport, we did a load going from Ohio to Ontario, the $1,200 load. At some point or another, the delivery was set for a Monday. Our dispatcher sent an email to the broker saying that we're really sorry we can't deliver on Monday. The next available appointment was a Wednesday. We did the delivery on Wednesday, and then the broker decided to send a revised confirmation deducting $600 for a late delivery fee. We send the invoice for $1,200. 40 days after, they make a payment for $600, and then they tell us to basically F off. We deducted $600 because you were late. That's the end of the story, and that's when I get involved. So let's have a look, first of all, of the story of what happened. So here's an email from our dispatcher explaining to the situation of what happened. Regarding this load, I sent an email out at 11 a.m. on April 1st stating that we cannot deliver Monday because the driver called in sick. So yes, these things happen with 100 power units. We're doing 4,000 shipments or 4,500 shipments a year. It could very well be that a driver can call in sick and you cannot find a different driver because the delivery is not here in the GTA. It's 4 hours east of the GTA. Now, before I get involved or before I start picking up phones, I really want to understand the story of what happened before I can start, calling the broker and asking him for payment. But I was requesting for delivery on Tuesday. However, by the time I saw your response, the driver assigned to do the Tuesday delivery has already left our yard to go out on a different shipment, meaning that the broker did not get back to us in time, so we couldn't schedule it for the Tuesday. They agreed for a Wednesday delivery, therefore we can only deliver Wednesday morning. The lack of response was I could not respond to your email after 2 p.m. Eastern as I am still working part-time. So I'll be full-time starting June 29. So yes, I do agree 100% that there was an error from ET Transport, and these things happen, and you can't be flawless all the time. But to deduct $600 for not delivering on time, that's 50% of the load. If they think that our profit margins are 50%, then they have completely lost their mind. We spoke over the phone first thing Tuesday morning and discussed about the Wednesday morning delivery, and delivery was completed by Wednesday morning. There was no bad intentions on my end with this shipment. I tried the best to give you updates over the phone via email. However, a deduction of $600 is a big loss because it leaves us with 74 cents to pay the driver and staff involved. Yes, we were late on your shipment, but can we discuss further about the deduction? Our dispatcher is trying to basically talk to somebody on there and say, listen, your deduction is not realistic. Now, what did he say? Good one. I called to always on hold for Robert. No one could help, so no thanks. Basically, in a nutshell, the guy's telling our dispatcher to F off. There's nothing to talk about. Mind you that this is all happening 30, 40 days after the delivery happened. This is where I come in. Nobody in their right mind is going to convince me that somebody's deducting $600 from our company for a late delivery. Now, the justification that the broker has is that it says it on our confirmation that we can deduct $200 per day. So he decided to deduct $200 for the late delivery on Monday, $200 for the late delivery on Tuesday, and then $200 for not having a tracker. Well, I've sent him an email of my dispatcher sending them the live tracker when they booked the load after the driver picked up. Say, here's the live tracking, who is the customs broker, and he sent them the tracker with it. So basically, I was told to F off also when I tried to reach out and to settle the matter with them. Let's talk about what I did. First thing that I did was I put a Google review on him. I didn't lie. I basically said the story of what had happened. Okay, I thought carriers beware, do not take loads from this company. ET Transport hauled a load for this company and delivered it late. So I made it clear 100% that we were late on our delivery, okay? They believe that they can deduct 50% of the load confirmation, $600 from a $1,200 load. We brought it up to their attention and they started ignoring emails and said, this is in our broker carrier agreement and we're allowed to deduct the money. They also made up a story about non-tractor. After I looked into it, the tracker was sent to the company and I took a screenshot of the fact that we did send them the tracker. So what did I do? I basically went and attacked the shipper and I CC'd the broker in my email to the shipper, because under the Bill of Lading Act, if I don't receive payment from the broker, I'm allowed to bill the shipper and or the receiver as if I had a contract with them directly. If you don't know how to do that, I have a toolkit for you on how to go after the shippers and the receivers legally. And if you haven't seen my video on what to do when brokers don't pay you, you can definitely click the link below or watch this video over here. I'll post it, and it goes into a 20-minute video going into detail about what your rights are as a carrier and when a broker doesn't pay you and what you can do and what you cannot do, and basically citing all the Bills of Lading Act and case law and how the shipper and the receiver are liable for your payment. Subject line, pending litigation, meaning I'm coming after your ass. Please find attached letter and invoice for your immediate attention. Now, not only did I send the shipper this, I sent the receiver this, and I included the customer in it, which is the broker that they hired. Upon review of the attached due invoice and the letter, you have additional questions regarding this pending litigation, please contact me, and I put my contact information because I deal with these things inside my office. Now, all of a sudden, the manufacturing plant gets the broker involved. Say, hey, what the hell is this? And I tell him the story of how I was underpaid $600. Why? Because I know the broker is a crook. He didn't get deducted $600. He's just deducting it from me. So if really in reality the broker was able to show me that, listen, my customer deducted it from me and therefore I'm deducting it from you, I would never go after the shipper. Okay, if he was able to pick up the phone, talk to me and say, hey, listen, our customer deducted from us, here's the documents to prove it, I would just leave it alone, no problem. But I knew that this broker was a crook. Okay, and I knew that he wanted to take the money for himself. So what did I do? I got the shipper involved. I made sure that he's going to pay me, and I told him that he's going to be liable for the $600 to pay me. One of the things that they threaten you with is a freight guard report, but I really don't give a shit about that. Why? Because I have a way to remove freight guard reports, so that's not going to help them in this case. There is some legal ramifications around the damages that a freight guard report can cause onto a carrier, and you can actually go after the person that wrote that freight guard report and seek the damages that they have caused. So in a beautiful letter written by a lawyer, not by me. If you want more information about it, click the link below. Long story short, after 4 or 5 emails, right away the broker gives me a call and says, hey, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean, what am I doing? What do you think? I'm gonna let you get away with taking $600 from me? He goes, yeah, but you can't call the customer. You should just file on our bond. I said, no, my friend. I'm not like other carriers. I'm going to get paid whether you like it, whether you don't like it. I'm getting my money. Long story short, after 3 or 4 days, finally I get an email from the broker. Good afternoon. He's still in a meeting, but I added him to this email. He will follow up with you as soon as he can. Said, okay, no problem. Another very, very important thing that I did. So I basically laid out the story with his customer. And I told him, hey, first name, from what I understand, you have unlawfully deducted $600 from our agreed rate and you have no intentions of paying it. Now, I CC'd him and his customer. All of a sudden, he's responding now to emails. It appears that you're looking to pocket an extra $600 on a load that we hauled. So let the customer know who he hired as a broker, okay? You have left ET Transport no choice but to demand payments from your customers directly under the Bills of Lading Act. This person, which is the customer, which is the shipper, the manufacturing plant, is responsible for the difference. I am holding them responsible, that manufacturing plant, for the difference between what I agreed with the broker and versus what I got paid, which is $600. And I don't need any more money, I just want my $600 back. After going after the shipper, based on my rights and what I'm allowed to do, I finally get an email from them without a signature or anything. One person is talking to a second person in his office. Okay, there's 2 people in the office. Probably one is, releasing the payments, and the other one is the freight broker. The freight broker does not want his relationship ruined with the manufacturing plant. He's gonna go up to the owner, he's gonna go up to the accounting department and say, hey guys, what are you doing? I'm gonna lose a customer over this. Send the guy $600. So that's exactly what happened. So this person named well, it doesn't matter who he is, but has this been, he's asking a question and CCing me in the email. Has this been taken care of? Ronen, to my understanding, the late charges will be reimbursed. Congratulations, thank you very much, that's all I needed. So we went from ignoring me 100% to finally responding to the emails, but it had to somewhat ruin the relationship between him and his customer. Why get to that? Just pay me my money and leave me alone. I will never work with this brokerage company again in my life, and I'm sure that they're never gonna work with me again. But it's okay, we don't wanna work with crooked brokers. Now, I'm not saying that ET Transport is an angel in the story. What I am saying is that there are crooked brokers out there that are gonna try to do everything they can in order to deduct and to pocket more money. And that has to stop in our industry. And that's why I created these PDFs, and that's why I created my freight bill collections toolkit. Guys, if you find yourself in a situation that this is happening to you and a broker is unlawfully deducting money from your pay, guys, please get yourself a hold of this toolkit. This toolkit will also help you when somebody is not paying their invoice. So when a broker doesn't pay their invoice, you can go directly after the manufacturing plant. There's no need to be an ass. There's no need to raise your voice. There's no need to say, I'm gonna do this to you and I'm gonna do that to you. Not all brokers are like this. We work with thousands of brokers, and a lot of them, we've been working with them over the last 18 years. But sometimes there are these flyby companies like this one over here. I can honestly tell from the emails that went back and forth that this particular broker is doing this constantly to carriers, and he's getting away with it. He just with the wrong guy, right? You can't just deduct $600 from somebody just because you feel like it. I'm trying to create awareness out there. There's a lot of bad happening in our industry, and we're trying to slowly fix it through these channels and creating awareness not only for truck drivers but owner operators and small fleet owners. This happens a lot more to small fleet owners and owner operators with their own authorities. So use my kits, use my tools, and hopefully it helps you so you are not a victim of an unlawful deduction. I'm Ronen, and I'll catch you in my next video.